you don't want them to draw this stuff out for the public to continue to digest, because it took a couple Twitter threads and one rapper for your entire world to turn around. What do you think they'll do to you? So first of all, thank you for coming on. We definitely wanted to speak with you. I know at least personally, I found you talking about the Jonathan Majors trial. I know that you are, a good getting through the court cases and kind of getting through the legal jargon of it all. So we was wondering if you could help us and take us through Drake's petitions here with UMG and tell us what he may be going for here. What's his angle? Does he think he actually has a chance to win them? Is this more of a negotiating thing, maybe behind the scenes? Just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on it.
So I'm just going to give you the biggest overview. Drake is it's not a lawsuit as of yet. He's like on a fact finding mission. He's
Okay.
petitioned in New York and in Texas. He's petitioned in New York because Spotify's home offices are located in New York, and he's petitioned in Texas because iHeartRadio's home offices are in Texas. So what
Okay.
he is petitioning for is he believes that UMG used payola, which is pay for play. I know that they did that for back in the day for radio hosts and things like that. They will pay
Mhm.
them a certain amount of money, and then they will push whatever record or whatever song that they wanted to be played. He's saying that that is what happened with Kendrick Lamar's "Not Like Us" record. Now, just to be clear, he has no petition out or any lawsuit out against Kendrick Lamar himself. He
Mhm.
just has it for UMG, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. He's saying that Spotify received money from UMG. He's also saying that Spotify and UMG had some kind of arrangement where UMG would pay uh, 30% less of the licensing fee that they paid to push these records, so that they would make sure that this particular record, Not Like Us, got at the top of the charts.
So they're
He's
a little
saying
more
that
incentivized to move that record a little bit.
to move it, correct. He Drake is looking for information so that he can then draft his lawsuit around that, the fact that he believes in payola. He's also saying that UMG defamed him because they allowed this record to go out with words like certified lover boy, certified PDF file. Uh,
Hmm.
and those things are defamatory to him, and that they had the ability to edit that record, or to at least not to put that record out, knowing that he was an artist on there, and he knew, and they know that he is not the certified PDF file and all of these things. So that's just the basic overview of what his two petitions are. He's on a
Okay.
fact finding mission with regards to that. What I think it is, he already knows, and we're not going to be obtuse and not believe that these record companies aren't pushing money under the table to pay certain things. I think he knows that, because I think, and this is just Pam Entertainment TV's thing, because it's happened for him. I've seen a couple
Sure.
of YouTube videos that have talked about something that happened in 2018, that with every playlist on Spotify, Drake's face was on everything,
I've seen
from
that. Yep.
gospel music when he's not even a gospel music.
Holiday music, country
That was
music.
during the Scorpion rollout.
Yeah.
That was the rollout for Scorpion. Yep.
Correct. That he was on all the different playlists, to the point where people were complaining to Spotify, and they wanted refunds of their money, because there were people who were like, we don't listen to rap music. We don't care nothing about Drake. Why are you all trying to make us watch Drake? Or, it's like that subliminal thing. You're going to go to Drake. You're going to go to Scorpion.
Right.
Someone who listens to Zydeco music is not going to listen to Drake. I think he understands the business part of that. And I think he understands that there is some stuff out there.
How does he create a separation, or how does he delineate between what would be seen as normal record promotion, or maybe giving a producer, or not producer, a distributor or DJs, or
Streaming service.
streaming services, DSPs, giving them discounts to press a record that you believe in, that you think is going to sell? How does he make it so clear, being at Drake, right? They provide these numbers, they show you what they paid the DJs. How does he prove that they're just not getting that because they're trying to push a record and they're a record company? and it's payola instead. How does he prove that?
That's his fact finding mission. That's what he's
Mhm.
trying to. That's what he wants them to open their records. He wants them to open their records, and he also in this petition he has John Doe's. See, he doesn't know who the person is that was taking the money and putting it over here or doing anything like that. So he
Mhm.
is wanting them to give that information, and he wants iHeartRadio to give that information. How are they communicating with UMG? He wants Spotify to give that information. How are you all communicating with UMG? Who are the distributors? Who are the people that or the go between people that maybe UMG is paying to be able to then take that money, and it's not coming out of UMG's books because they've given it to this third party that's giving you that money. So they're wanting to know the whole ins, and he wants to know the whole ins and outs of the operate of this operation. So this is what he's on. He's on his fact finding mission. I think he knows that there's something going on. He just doesn't know who particularly are the people or the entities that are doing all of this stuff.
The defamation thing. In defamation, correct me if I'm wrong, you have to prove malice, and then you also have to prove that the person knew what they were saying wasn't correct, like they intended to harm you and they knew what they were saying wasn't right. So then if you're okay, that's correct. If you're Universal, then the only way to get yourself out of that, the way I'm seeing it, is to either deflect that blame to somebody else, which I don't think that they stand to gain anything by tanking Kendrick, by deflecting it to him, which, his legal reputation claims that they did try to offer up
They
Kendrick.
did in the petition for, I think it's the iHeart Radio. They had mentioned that if he felt like he was being defamed,
Hmm.
then they would stand behind him if he goes and he sues Kendrick.
Okay, that's interesting to me. That's crazy. So now you're asking the billion-dollar media company to prove that there may be some legitimacy to these
They got to
inappropriate
provide
relationships or
evidence.
whatever.
According to the petition, their job now is to provide evidence, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, because now he's saying that they knowingly let him say that and they knew that he wasn't a PDF file. Well, how did they know that? How are they to know that?
He's really got to show that he is being defamed. And the thing about that is now you opening yourself up, because
Yeah.
if you go through, because what was that song, The Heart Part 6? Now he says that he fed the information to Kendrick them and all of
Which
this other
doesn't make
stuff.
any sense.
So it's not making any sense to me. If you fed them the
We
information,
fed him the information.
how
There's
are
no
they
defamation.
defaming you?
Yeah.
Why would you want someone with the kind of power, reach, and resources as Universal to start digging into that stuff? You want them to go talk to the girl's father who's you were up against their back, and you don't want them to draw this stuff out for the public to continue to digest, because it took a couple Twitter threads and one rapper for your entire world to turn around. What do you think they'll do to you?
That's a question. That is really a question for uh our certified lover boy,
For sure.
because he I just think it's ego. I think he believes that he is Drake, and I think he believes that he is untouchable. And I
Yeah.
think he believes that if he rattles the cages enough, because he thinks that if he's rattling the cages, he is going to force UMG to do something. But he's not understanding. I do remember when Michael Jackson went up against Sony. Now, Michael Jackson
Mm-hmm.
was the biggest artist out here. I mean, even he was almost treated like royalty wherever he went. They rattled his cage. I don't know why that he's thinking that UMG, uh, who owns, I mean, Universal is huge. I don't know if he wants to shake those trees, but again, all of this, in my opinion, this is not anything legal. Like I said, the legal part of it is he's on a fishing expedition. He wants the court to authorize the UMG, Spotify, and iHeart to turn over their information so that he can go on a fact finding. His lawyers can go through that information so that they can prepare, if they could see the information, to prepare it for a lawsuit. He did mention something about all the people that were loyal to him that UMG had moved out of the
Absolutely.
way.
Yeah.
So I think he's probably, the people who he had connections with probably told him that Kendrick was going to drop. And so this was something that he wanted to do to be able to
Counteract that.
counteract the drop.
Yeah, he may have had some people who he grew relationships with and things of that nature. But if I'm not mistaken, I think at some point recently they had mass layoffs at some of these labels. And so assuming that this was just tied to your beef, I think is desperate, and I think it reads to his ego at some level, because they could have easily just been fired for any other reason, and he has to now prove that as well.
What's the timetable on the information? Like, how long does UMG have to respond? How long does the court have to make a decision? When do we expect to know if they have to turn it over?
The judge has to look at that to see if they're going to be able to grant this information. So
Mm.
you're looking anywhere from a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month, just
Okay.
depending on the judge, and here's the thing too, this is the holiday season, and you like I know judges and all kinds of court workers and stuff like that, their schedules, they're probably in their holiday mode.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
he may have done it before the holidays, but you may not see anything uh maybe to the first of the year, because people take 2 to 3 weeks holidays. He may come back and make a thing and or schedule it for next year, but I don't see anything coming up. I don't see this December. I don't see anything coming up within the next 2 to 3 weeks, unless they just trying to rush it through. But I
Rush
don't
it.
see anything. I don't see anything coming up within the. We'll probably wait. It'll probably be in January before anybody says anything about anything.
What's the likelihood that this kind of gets thrown out due to seemingly the lack of evidence from Drake's side? I mean, I seen some of the court case was citing like different internet videos and Twitter threads. He's got these other podcasters on what seems like a almost like a RICO case, and it just kind of seems like he's kind of reaching. Although he may know some of these things because obviously UMG probably did some of these things with
He
him,
was involved in it.
it just seems like he's kind of reaching because he doesn't actually know what happened in this case. So what's the likelihood that this, I guess, gets thrown out due to lack of evidence?
That would be for UMG to push forth. If they say, hey, look, he is our artist, we are in the middle of negotiations, he's a little salty about whatever, they can show proof about this and all this other stuff, and they can present that to the court. I'm quite sure that the court will look at that, will take that in consideration. But again, I think the thing that's hindering UMG is that in New York they settled and paid some money in regards to that payola back in 2005, 2006, 2007.
Mm-hmm.
So the state of New York may be looking at UMG side-eyed, and they may say, like, wait a minute, we know you've done some things and you have settled in the past. Maybe this is something that we need to look at again. So we'll see.
Okay.
I remember some of the things that they named in the lawsuit was like the there was a guy who made a video about
Siri.
the Siri thing that was going on, the
Yep.
Siri glitch.
Mm-hmm.
There was also a name drop, or not a name drop, but a mention to a podcast.
NFR podcast.
I don't think it was the NFR. They think we were talking about ACK, where the guy had went on there talking about being the source. They got
Oh yeah,
paid.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Correct. There was a guy, and I saw I watched that particular podcast. It was funny, and he was mentioning like the $2,500, but he was saying that it was somebody in Interscope that was supposed to pay him the rest of the
Mm-hmm.
money, and they hadn't
Right.
paid him the rest of the money, and
Right.
all of that kind of stuff. Yes, he did mention those things were mentioned in there, and like I said,
Which is embarrassing because both of those things got disproven. Like both of those things got disproven on the internet already.
yeah.
The one guy who was doing the oh, they paid me, he showed a screenshot of a name that wasn't even on
It wasn't even
the
tied
listing.
to
It was
it.
no employee on Interscope's roll. And then the
Siri
Siri
thing.
glitch was it was the way that the algorithm picks up on the words. Not everybody knows
They
song
search by
titles.
lyrics.
Yeah, they search by lyrics. So then if
yeah, because he
you
said wop 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 wop, and then
right,
saw.
and it went right back to Not Like Us.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he did drop, it took us to Family Matters or
Yeah.
Push Ups.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
I did
so
on one of my videos. I did on one of my videos. I didn't do into Siri, but I typed it in, and I just typed in certified lover boy certified PDF file, and like songs came up. Like there was like certain songs that came up,
Mm.
and Not Like Us came up, but also albums came up, and certified lover boy did come up as
Mm-hmm.
as an album. So I guess because the wording is in a song, and then that wording is in the whatever the wording is in, it's gonna pull up that information. Because I pulled up a country song. I can't remember what it was, but there was a country song and all kinds of different songs that showed up.
I don't want this to turn into everybody is going to be suing
Yeah,
over
that'd be
what's
crazy.
said in
Yeah,
rap
no,
beef.
we don't need all this
That's what I
litigation.
hope the last thing that comes of this, because the last thing I want to happen is for Drake to set the new standard of what battle rap is after he loses.
Through
Like
litigation.
in a loss, now he changes the entire landscape of what battle rap is.
Not
I
getting
hate
in the
it.
studio. We're suing.
The people who are of the culture
Yeah.
need to hold Drake accountable for that.
Mhm.
Because like I'm gonna say, this is just Pam. The white man is coming out of Drake. He is lost,
The white
and
woman.
can't take the fact that he's lost since he's been on top. And so, because look at him, even his whole persona now, not even 6 weeks ago, he was running around here with what he thought was black American black culture, with barrettes
Mhm.
in his hair and all this other stuff.
Mhm.
Now
Yeah, where
he's
did all
all
that?
clean shaven and everything. I mean, he still has his beard, but he has
Mhm.
cut his hair. He's clean shaven. You know, he says he looks good, mind, body, and soul, and all this stuff. So he's coming across, and you see now that even who he's streaming with, he's
Yeah.
streaming people, the other side. Because I'm
Mhm.
like, your biggest supporter, DJ Academics, I hadn't seen you on his show yet.
Hey, I would have sworn you would have seen them buddied up in Turks and Caicos together at some point.
He's still caping for him.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, he is.
we'll see if that pays off one day.
He's
Yeah.
gonna have to, because of the fact that once you start, I guess his ego is gonna get him, unless he finds somebody that he can latch to in the next couple of
Oh
years.
yeah, it'll be
Right.
somebody else soon. When all of this starts to die down, it'll be somebody else.
All of those people are going to ride Drake to the end. And now I don't want anybody to mishear me. Is Drake an artist? Yes, he is. Does he have good albums and good songs and things like that? Yes, he does. People have purchased them, people have listened to them, and they have streamed them, and what have you, with or without payola. But he's going down bad. This is not battle rap. This right here is hurt feelings. If you cannot, if you can't stand the heat, do not get into the kitchen, because it's going to be hot.
Pam, I appreciate you so much for coming on, breaking it down for us. Let the people know where they can find you.
I am Pam at Pam Entertainment TV. That is my YouTube handle. That is all my handles on all my social medias. Come join me. I love it. I review movies and television series. I go over celebrity legal news, and I do my pop culture chats, just to see what's going on in pop culture and how that affects our daily lives.
Facts.
Sure,
Appreciate
for
it so much,
sure.
man. Definitely glad we had you on to kind of discuss some of this, because we kind of talked about it
Briefly.
real quick as the news happened. So I'm glad we got a chance to go in depth, and glad you were a part of that.
Chat, go over there, follow her, smash likes on all the videos, do your thing, help her out.
All right. Y'all have a good Sunday.
You too.
Thank
Thank
you
you very
too.
much.